Well, we're now learning that a key senior official, this is important, a key senior official at the Justice Department objected to and warned the State Department that that $400 million cash payment to Iran would be seen as ransom money. Wall Street Journal reporting that John Carlin, head of the DOJ's National Security Division, was among several senior justice officials who raised objections about the January payment. Well, joining me now, Foundation for Defense of Democracy senior counselor and former Cheney National Security Advisor John Hanna. John, what's your take on that $400 million? I mean, it just doesn't seem like you have to be a national security expert to go. At the same time, it's going to look bad. Was it ransom?
Well, I mean, Tom, as you know, if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. The outrage here is that the president just a week ago was mocking critics who said this looks like ransom. He sent out Josh Earnest, his spokesman, to say that this is just another example of U.S. and Iranian hardliners colluding against the nuclear deal. And yet here we've got some of the top law enforcement officers in the nation agreeing with the critics, objecting from the inside, saying this looks like ransom and it's going to get more Americans taken as hostages. Yep. And that's exactly what's happened.
But how does that work within the DOJ? I mean, you're a senior top official and you object. What happens to your objection? Does anybody hear it?
I assume that these things get said, they get argued out, and they just get steamrolled by a White House and a State Department in the form of Secretary of State John Kerry that just weren't willing to take no for an answer. They wanted this deal above everything else and were willing to do just about anything, including, it looks like, paying ransom for hostages, completely contrary to U.S. policy, in order to get their treasured nuclear deal.
Yeah. And the pastor who was one of the hostages that was released, I mean, he told our Trish Reagan that they had to stay on the ground until another plane arrived. You put all these together, and you really have a pile of suspicious evidence here that makes me wonder, why did the president try and come out and explain this away?
Because I think he's going to do everything in his power to protect this nuclear deal. He knows the kind of political damage and delegitimization that would occur if he was found to be trading money for hostages. So I think he is going to do everything simply to deny, and play this clock out until everybody moves to a different subject, which is why I think Congress has really got to get involved here and get to the bottom of this, just the way Congress did 30 years ago when President Reagan was found to be selling arms for hostages to the mullahs.
Sure. Tell me about your reaction to the CENTCOM report, that people at CENTCOM were making their reports look like we were being much more optimistic on our successes against ISIS.
I'm just astonished. It is a huge scandal. Let's not forget the stakes. We are a country at war. We've got men and women on the front lines who are in harm's way. The ISIS terrorist threat that's posed to the homeland is imminent, and yet we've got CENTCOM, the combatant command responsible for fighting and winning this war, that appears to be in the tank with the political views that have been consistently expressed by the president, that there's nothing to see here. ISIS is the JV team. Everything I'm doing in the war is exactly right, so no need to change course here.
It is shocking. John Hanna, thank you. Appreciate your expertise. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Tom.
You bet.